Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the IrishHotspur with Joe, boys, Dave, and Jack, bringing you your Monday night fan show, and no better opportunity for you guys to come on and have your say on all of the latest transfer rumors. Are you happy? Are you unimpressed? Well, this is the show for you. Come on and have your say. Jack has been working hard all day gathering up the transfer rumors. I've had a 4-hour drive back from the back arse of Ireland over in Achill Island. Really nice little breakaway, actually, with the Owl. Good to be back, though. And hopefully we'll start getting some signings in the door now. The group stages are starting to slow down a little bit. Jack, how are you, my man?
I'm doing good, Dave. I like that this time for this fan show, we have a lot more to talk about than we did in the last one. I feel like we had to make hard work of coming up with whatever questions, whatever news was out there. And also credit to all the people that came on the last time, right, to, make use of what was out there to talk about. This time around, I think we got some stuff to work with. We got strikers to talk about, ones that you might be disappointed to see off the list, ones that you might be happy to see that are off the list as well in some cases. We have these Joe Rodon swap deals that could be happening this summer. Emerson Royale deal seems to be stalling. Jed Spence deal collapsing. Lots of different stuff kind of transfer-wise to be talking about since last time we had the fan show. So a little bit happy with that. And also the away kit, even if you have some strong opinions about that one, if it's an away kit that you're not a big fan of. Because from what I can tell, not the happiest of reactions or the most loving of reactions from this fan kit, or this away kit, sorry. I can tell by you shaking your head even, Dave.
We'll probably drop a video on our reactions to all the kits once the third kit is released as well. But look, for me, I actually think it's like a wallpaper or a carpet you'll find in a strip joint, to be a sleazy strip joint, to be brutally honest. I do not like it. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and they will not be getting my money for that. I think it's absolutely horrible. It looks like wallpaper my old lad tried to put in my room when I was younger, I just don't like it whatsoever, Jacko. So that's not for me. Yeah. Neither are a lot of these rumors on the strikers that we're being linked to be brutally honest with you. I mean, it's just, and you hear every day, they're high up on the priority list. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I hope not. I mean, Jesus Christ, why don't it come to someone like me for, top 5 strikers? I could give you that, no problem, instead of that shitty list that they're making up. I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling. But look, it is the time where I think papers are just printing anything they can, any sort of link they can at this moment in time. It won't really start picking up and who you really know your true targets are, maybe until a lot of the teams are being knocked out of the Euros.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And so I'm just happy, Dave, that we have a lot more to work with this time in terms of questions, which means anybody that's been planning to come on and have their say, you have much better questions this time around. So please have a chat with us. It's time for Dave and I to begin the week, listen to you guys instead of just us droning on as per usual. So please come on, have your say, give your opinions, plenty of stuff to chat about. We already have 2 Australians in the background. The Aussies are showing up today. So please, everybody, come on, have a chat with us. Please give us some company. And look forward to a good fan show today. And we have tifo watch-alongs throughout the week, so it's going to be another busy week on the channel. Looking forward to stuff. And Dave broke the internet with his pre-record on the title, or what Ange Postecoglou needs. I actually meant to put that as a question as well, if you had your say on that, or if that's something that maybe you wanted to talk about, what you think Ange Postecoglou needs, or what does Ange need in order to be successful, unless they put it in a perfect question. So I'm actually now fumbling it. So
no, basically it's just sort of, will Ange Postecoglou, or I gave my reason why he won't win a title at Tottenham unless something changes. And I know a lot of people watch it. It's basically about actually filling out the squad, building a proper squad instead of having 11, 12, 13 players that he can rely on. He needs 17, 18, 19 players that he can rely on. And that's where we need to get to. But I did read a lot of the comments underneath. A lot of people sort of agreeing with what we had to say, actually, Jack. But, we're open to people. If you disagree, come on and have your say. But there's plenty of stuff for you to come and talk about. And there's also going to be plenty of watch-alongs for Euro games for you this week over on the platform tifo. Make sure you come and join us for that. Big game for England tomorrow. I know they're already through, but whereabouts are they going to qualify out of that group? There's a few groups, the Belgium group, Ukraine, Romania, and that group, that's sort of, left in the balance as well. So exciting week. And then, of course, we're going to have plenty of content coming out here as well. But look, let's welcome a few people in and then let's crack on. We've got MV Joker Davies, who will be first on in the background. Big up. We've also got Spurs diehards, Tottenham till I die. Good afternoon, David and Jack. Good evening. Good to see you, my man. I presume that's Adrian, I think. Good to see you. And by the way, I think he started up a new channel. So get over, smash that subscribe button over there as well. Dermatron, he's at home with a slip disc at the minute, so he can't get out of bed. So everyone wish him well. But he says, evening lads, have a great show. I'll return soon. But as always, we are Tottenham till we die. Good to see you, Dermo. And everybody, make sure you wish him the best of health. I wonder how he slipped that disc. I don't think I want the answer there, Dermo. You're on mute, Jacko.
Sorry, I was saying your two loves, Dermatron and Harry Kane, both having back problems this summer. I've heard people saying that Harry Kane's not exactly being too truthful about his back pain going into this tournament. So maybe Dermatron's experiencing some Harry Kane issues.
Do you know what? I get back pain as well. So maybe, it's something with the trifecta of love, maybe. But good to see Mark as well. David is a Levy buy cheap option. Nothing changes. I mean, I just don't want him. I don't want the guy. I don't rate him in front of goal whatsoever. I'd actually, hot take, Richarlison's much more clinical in front of goal than Jonathan David is. So not for me on that one, Marky boy. We've got Iceman. Good to see you. Good evening, fellas, and everyone in the chat. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did. I was down on the West Coast. The north, south, the north, never eat shredded wheat is how I get there. North, east, south, west. So west, I was down on the west coast of Ireland on Achill Island. If anyone knows that famous comedy, Father Ted, that's where that was filmed. I was down there for the weekend with the Owl having a little escape. Jason Bell, big up everyone. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well, Jason, and thank you for following us across the tifo as well. Miss TC Hotspur, evening all. Good to see you. Thank you very much for tuning in this evening. Shantam, hey Jack and Dave, the dynamic duo. Hope you're both well today. Hello to the chat. Hope everyone is doing okay. We're doing absolutely fantastic. Hopefully you're doing well as well, Shem. And I also thank you very much for following us across and joining us on the fun at tifo. Tyler says, good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well. Loving the international football right now. Do you know, I was having that conversation with my dad. It's not actually as boring as a lot of the qualifiers and stuff like that. It's very end-to-end games and stuff like that. Although the game last night, was probably up there for most boring game in the tournament between Scotland and Hungary. Actually, I'm just going to say this. Scotland got what they deserved with the way they approached the game. They approached scared. First few minutes, the centre-back kept on passing it back across the other centre-back instead of opening his body and playing it, and that set the tone for the evening. So, that's why they're sitting at home crying right now. Phil Coyce, Dave and Jacko, good to see you, Phil. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. We've got Tom Austin. Scotland was funny, but some Spurs news would be nice. That would be ideal as well. Pep us up a little bit. Pep in the step. Paul Connor, great to see you. Good evening, lads. Big up to you both. Great to see you, my man. Who else have we got here? Not sure what that is, but says when Manor Solomon returns. Good question, actually. Hopefully, this year. Big up Rick in Brighton because G up, lads. Does that mean?
Good to see you. Good to see you, Rick. And Rick, seems like Brighton is the new location. Rick in Rio, Rick in London, Rick in Brighton. I appreciate how much he keeps up to date with this location. Thank you, Rick. Good to see you, sir.
Rick in Brighton, hopefully you're having fun down there, my man. A stick of Brighton Rock, I used to, well, you get them in every holiday town you go down to, the Rock and the Saints from that area. It's mad how gullible you are when you're younger, eh? And then Scotty Hynam says, big up to all. Come on, you Spurs. Great to see you, Scotty, as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. But look, Jacko, do you want to maybe, have you already listed out the questions of that? Do you want to run through them or do you want to just get straight on with the guest?
I'll do it very quickly because we already have some guests that have been waiting very patiently. But today on the agenda, everyone, unless you wanted to add something to it. So please come on, hit that link in the community section for all you lovely members. Smash the like button as well on the stream too. And then feel free, if you wanted to at any point, throw in a super chat if you wanted to interrupt us at any stage and get in your own question, get in your own opinion. But we're going to talk about Jonathan David, whether he's good enough for Spurs, 23 years old. He scored plenty of goals in his time in Liga. But we have watched him just recently, and he missed a lot of sitters, which gave us some pause for thought. So let us know your thoughts on Jonathan David, whether you think he's good enough for Spurs. We're also going to be talking about us selling Richarlison. Alasdair Gold seems to think that Spurs are willing to listen to offers for him. He could be headed out the door. So if you have strong opinions about Richarlison, come on and have your say. Alasdair Gold has also distanced us from a variety of strikers. Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, Ivan Toney, Joshua Zirkzee, who's out from Bologna, the Dutch striker, Federico Chiesa, Juventus Italian winger, plenty of players that some of us would be happy to see off the list, but also ones that we might be disappointed to hear that are off the list. So let me know your thoughts on that one. I heard some rumors about a Carlos Alcaraz, Joe Rodon swap deal with Southampton. Let us know if that's something that you'd be interested in, or if Joe Rodon is going to be a key figure in some swap deals this summer. Emerson Royale, AC Milan deal seems to be stalling. Jed Spence's deal to Genoa also could be stalling or collapsing. Will Spurs be ruthless this summer with outgoings like those sort of players? And then another question I have is Højbjerg's price tag is reportedly around 20 million euros. Is that a bargain in your opinion? And is he an underrated or an overrated player if you are a big Højbjerg fan? And then last and certainly not least, but maybe Dave is actually looks like he's about out to questions. So he's at an audible of a question here. New away kit. Your thoughts on that? I'm happy to bring that up on screen. I have some tweets saved of our lovely Mickey Van de Ven, Pedro Porro, those guys in the new kit. So we can definitely have some thoughts on that one. And Dave, you put in a question.
Yes, just Ken Ange Postecoglou in a trophy at Tottenham Hotspur off the back of the video that we put out there Friday, if anyone's watched it. Also, with the fixture list being, announced, it's quite a kind of fixture list, so if we can get a good run at things,
yes,
who knows? Yes, I'm gonna, but again, shoot me, I don't care. But big up, Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. Great to see you as well in the building. Hopefully you and Jim Bob are keeping well. Well, look, guys, that's all the news that Jack's rounded up for you today. I think he's done a very good job. I don't think he's missed anything at all. So let's start. I believe we've got MV Joker Davies. Let's bring him on. Let's hear what he has to say. Just quickly, Kate says, Dave and Jack, thanks for all your support this year. Proud that the channel turns 1 today, and you guys have really helped me along the way. Wow, 1 year. Absolutely insane. Just I remember when I had my 1 year, I felt so proud of myself. Little loser I am, but I was so chuffed with myself because to be honest, I never thought it'd last 2 months, to be brutally honest. I thought a lot of people would say, oh, look at that fat Irish kid. Who does he think he is? Hasn't a clue about football, So, and then, it went on, got Jack on board, and here we are still here today. So hopefully you have many years of success with your channel as well, Kate. You and Jim do a great job over there along with Chang.
Looking forward to being on the channel soon as well. I think I'm going to be making my debut. Yeah, at the 26th. I'm looking forward to it. Big up, Kate.
Big up, Kate. Good to see you in the building, and happy 1 year, not anniversary, but happy 1 year to you of the channel, and hopefully you've had a celebration, a few of them party poppers and stuff like that. That'd be nice. And also big up Jimbo as well. Good to see you, my man. He says the quad is on. And then we've got Dan Coys, Evening Dave and Jack, going to be listening on the way home from work. Come on, you Harris Army. Big up, Dan Coys.
Legend, Dan.
Really appreciate that, my man. And hopefully you are keeping well, sir. And then also Colin Turner, when it comes to our kits, it's about history and tradition. White and blue, no stripes or fancy colors. Yeah, but look, I would love it to be that way. Jack knows me. I'm pretty boring when it comes to my kits, unless Harry Kane's face is plastered all over the front of it. I like playing kits, but it just seems to be this new age stuff, where people like the bright colors. You go into the local shops, I mean, even sports shops, pennies, whatever. Look at the colors. Honestly, it gives me an epileptic fit walking in there sometimes, seeing all them colors. It's absolute madness, but that's the way it is, Colin. They can't all cater to dull people like me and you, I suppose. And I mean that in the nicest sense, my man. Big up, Colin. And then we've got Nomad. This is a welcome show. Thanks, boys. Really appreciate that, Nomad. And then we've also got Stevie in here. Hello, you handsome buggers.
Stevie.
And everyone in the chat, you know what? I'll take handsome today. I've had a haircut and a nice trip to the barbers, as you can see. So I'll actually take that today. Big up, Stevie. And hope in now. Take a couple more and then we'll crack on. And now my computer's frozen. We've got Ryman's son. Good afternoon, chat. Good to see you, Ryman. And then we've also got Rectus Madness. Big up, Al. What's up, Dave? And Jack, sending love to you, gents. I really don't care what our guys wear for the kit, so long as it's Tottenham. Come on, you Spurs. But look, that's one way of looking at it. Look, I'm not going to not support them or not watch a game because of the kit. I just think it looks something you'll find in a really sleazy joint somewhere, to be brutally honest with
amazing.
You. Al, you will not see that kit on me all season long, not even if anyone paid me to do it. So, that's not happening. But big up, Al, and everybody get over and check out his channel along with Kate's as well. 2 great Spurs channels in the community. Big up, Kate. But look, we are going to crack on because actually, I haven't said it yet, but selfishly, very selfishly, and I hold my hands up, I want to watch Luka Modric tonight. It could be the last time I see him in a Croatia jersey. Everyone knows how much of an idol he is to me, how much I love him. So I want to watch him against Italy at 8 o'clock. So we will be ending off at 8. So if you do want to come on, make it known, get yourself in the back end. And I'm just telling everybody now, hard finish 8 o'clock. So don't come in at 5 to 8 expecting to have a 20-minute conversation today. It ain't happening because Luca has my love today. And then we have this from Spurs GCTV. Good to see you. Hi, Dave and Jack. Smash the like, folks. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Spurs GCTV. And why not? It's a great day out, really hot weather, feeling good. Why not buy a channel membership? Come on and have your say on the fan show. Everybody, nice cheap option there for it as well. So get on it. But look, we'll crack on. We'll start getting on the first guest. It is MV Joker Davies. Let's hear what he has to say. Good to see you, Edward. How are you keeping?
I'm good. You?
Fantastic, my man. That Western Irish air has got me absolutely rejuvenated. Absolutely love it. But look, what do you want to talk about today, my man?
We'll start with the strikers. We'll start with the strikers today. So many.
What's your thoughts?
The list of the strikers. I mean, I'm a bit sad about Santiago Jimenez. Actually, kind of wanted him. I think he would have been a good option. I think he was headphones. I think he was a good option. I think he would have done better than Richie. I think he would have been a better striker than Richie. And I think he I don't know. I don't watch much of the Dutch league, so I can't really judge, but I've seen some highlights. I think he was a really good ball carrier, a good really tall, so had a really good header on him, which would definitely help with the attacking set pieces. But at the moment, all we have is Romero, and it's kind of scary seeing any sort of set piece being taken. Because I'm like, oh no, something's bad's going to happen.
Well, and is there any of the names on the list that you're maybe you want to come in that maybe you are looking at and saying, yeah, go and get me him. He will be exactly what we need up front.
Victor Gyokeres from Sporting, definitely. I think he's just a talented sort of striker. I think he's Swedish, so we have Kulu who could always just put in a good word for us to get him in. But I think he just so talented. He has such a good strike on him, and the amount of goals he's racking up in the Portugal league, it's insane. And we've seen many players coming from that league, not in recent time, but in past, that come into the Premier League and smash it like Ronaldo did when he came into the into Man U. He absolutely smashed it and got that big move to Real Madrid. I think he would definitely suit Ains' system with a high press. I think he'll thrive in it. Actually, I think he'll score way more than he did in the in that sort of team that plays more of a three at the back, not as much pressing as this one. I think he'll just be such a good striker.
Do you think, because he's only there 2 years, if I'm correct, he was at Coventry, scored a bag load of goals for them, ended up, so that shows he can do it in England. If you can do it down in them lower leagues where the referees let a lot more go on you, I think he'd be fine in the Premier League. I agree with you on that, but he's not at Sporting too long. He's posted great numbers. He ain't going to be cheap. Do you think that Spurs are going to fork out the money on this guy that, it's going to require to be able to pull him over?
Well, according to reports, Ruben Amorim doesn't want him going for any less than 80 million, his release clause. So I don't know. That's a tough one because Levy, we know how cheap Levy is, but and we also have a bit of a tight budget. We're needing to get also a midfielder in, a winger in, maybe a backup fullbacks. So it would be difficult if we are okay, if the fans are okay with not bringing Eze in. I think Gyokeres is definitely someone we should go get. I'm for Eze, but I feel like we could definitely, if we get Gyokeres, we could definitely find someone cheaper than Eze who could do not as good as Eze, but could do just the job we need for Eze. Add that sort of flair to the team.
Maybe last question for me on the back of that then, Eddie, and then we'll let Jacko in. I know what you're saying about the cheaper option. I was watching that guy from Romania the other day, ping balls around left, right, and centre. I'm sitting there going, why can't someone like Madison do that? I wonder is Anne sitting there because he was doing the commentary for BBC. I wonder is Anne sitting there looking at this guy. But then I also understand, Ange wants to win trophies, right? In order to win trophies, we need to build a squad. And we've seen before that, we've got good recruitment under Steve Hitchen, or not Steve Hitchen, sorry, that was atrocious. Under Fabio Paratici, we've had really good recruitment and we've done very well. But is the cheaper option not the reason why we sort of found ourselves where we were the last few years? If we wanted to go and achieve what Ange Postecoglou has openly said he wants last season, which is the challenge, should Spurs not be going out and put money down the boat?
Yeah, definitely. But you got to pay the mind that I think our biggest issue is a number 9. We need a striker. Sonny can't play there. He's way better on the left. Richarlison is too inconsistent, get injured way too often. We need a number 9, and I think Gyökeres could definitely do that. I think he could definitely do what we need as getting the goals. We need a replacement for Harry Kane, and Gyökeres is definitely that. I don't think we can cheap out on the striker. Cheaping out on a midfielder, and I'm not saying cheap like 20, 15 million. I mean like at least 35 million. That's what I consider be about a cheap midfielder. I think that's a good sort of standard we should get for a midfielder to add that little competition into that area, because you got to remember we got Bargwell coming in, we got we have Madison, we have Bissouma, Papa Matassar, Bentancur. We have such an overload of talented midfielders at the moment, and we also got Donnelly, Tyrese Hall, who apparently Ange likes, who I could definitely see getting game time in those sort of cups in early group stages. So I can definitely see us not going out and spending a huge amount on a midfielder, but instead doubling down on that attack line, which is where we failed. I don't think our attack line was good at all the whole season. The reason we turned on Thomas, reason we lost some of the goals is because of our front line, because they kept turning over the ball and letting them attack us where our line is high, which didn't give them enough time to get back. If we did it at Mickey, we would have conceded like 20 more goals.
Yeah.
So I think we definitely need that sort of number 9 to solidify that attack line and make it a lot more threatening. And if a team going up against us, if we had Vicky Gyökeres, a lot of teams would be afraid of that sort of front line. Sonny, Gyökeres, and either Brennan Johnson or Kulusevski. That's a dangerous front line. And I think, we can't cheap out on a striker here. That's my stopping point. We need a good striker, and he's the man.
Okay. He's the man. He's the man for you. In terms of outgoings this summer, Edward, do you see Spurs being ruthless? I'm seeing the Emerson Royale deal is stalling. Judd Spence's deal could be collapsing. We need a lot of outgoings to be happening this summer. We're still trying to chip through the Ndombele's, and I think we actually, that one is off the list. So well done to Spurs in a sense. But do you know what I mean? Like we need to be ruthless this summer. Do you see that happening?
I think. Come the end of the Euros, we'll see a lot more transfers happening, a lot more outgoings, especially with Højbjerg. I think at the moment we were just waiting for Denmark to be knocked out to solidify any sort of deal for Højbjerg. We want to see how good he can be and how much he can raise that price tag. Because reportedly it's at 20 million now. For me, Højbjerg is like only 26 this year. Still have a lot of years on him. I think we could still get that deal a bit higher than 20. To me, he's more of a 25 to a $30 million player. I don't think 20 is too cheap for him. And the Spence deal, that's probably got to do with the 777 partners with Genoa. I think that's the reason why that one is collapsing, because they just won't fork over the money we want for Spence. And the Emerson deal stalling, I actually don't know why that would be stalling. Emerson wants to move. We want him out. I just think...
well, they keep haggling over 20 million euros. And is that an indication of Spurs being not so ruthless? Or is that AC Milan just being annoying? Is it a bit of both?
A bit of both. I think Levy wants that 20 million. And we know how Levy gets. He won't back on a sort of deadline. I think he won't sell Emerson for anything less than 20 million, which is I kind of can respect it, but at the same time, like, just take the money, please. Get him out of my club. I don't Please, we need reinforcements, and we need to be ruthless. And I would take about 18, 17 million for Emerson. So yeah, I think we do need to be ruthless with our deals, but I can see why a lot of them are slowing down at the moment.
And when it comes to another particular outgoing, this one is very weird, this rumor, but did you see the Joe Rodon swap deal with Carlos Alcaraz? He's a Southampton player. He's playing at Juventus for a little bit. What do you think could happen there? Do you think Joe Rodon could be used in a swap deal in some sense?
I mean, he could, especially if Leeds is willing to do a swap deal for Archie Gray and Joe Rodon, and also us tacking some cash on top of that to give us Gray or any of the other Bamford or any of the other good youngsters they got there still. I could definitely see that happening. Otherwise, I think we'll just sell him for cash because we did just opt for an extra year on his contract. So he said 2 years left. We can definitely get money out of him, about 10 to 15 million. I think it's what Levy wants for him. Wouldn't shock me. He had a great season of Leeds, so that's definitely something I think is doable. Just depends on who wants him.
And then do you have strong opinions on the kit, Edward? The new away kit.
The kit reminds me of the Argentinian kit. It reminds me of that sky blue kit. And I'm a fan of the Argentinian kit. I actually was a really big fan of the 2014 World Cup kit, which was like that dark sort of sky blue. But this, I think, is a bit too light for me. I think it needs to be a bit darker. I do like my dark blue. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not upset. I think it's all right. Would I buy it? No.
That's the question, right? That's you're doing such a great job, Edward, of almost asking the questions to yourself here. I must say that is the question. Would you buy this kit?
I'm not wasting $150 on that. I'm good, you know. Actually, probably more. I don't know what a pound is to dollars.
It might even be more than that. You're right.
It might be more. And plus the shipping. I'm good, you know. I'm good.
Well, and I think I had another question just quickly on. Let me just bring that down. Lastly, sorry, just give me a moment. Yes. With Dave's recent video, last question here. What do you think Ange Postecoglou needs as soon as possible in order to win a trophy? What are his absolute musts in order to win a trophy?
Well, I just mentioned this. It's a striker. Strikers are absolute must. We need that striker in, and Gyökeres is definitely one we should go for. If we get a quality striker in who can hold up that line, can also score a bunch of goals and replace the Harry Kane, with I think we'll definitely get a trophy. I've already talked to my dad about this. I've said we can definitely win the Europa League next season. I've looked at the teams and I see there's not that many good teams in the Europa League this season. There's, if I bring it up, there's Athletic Bilbao, AZ Alkmaar, Frankfurt, Porto, Hoffenheim, Lazio, Lyon, United, Nice, Olympiacos, Sociedad, Roma, and Spurs. Those are all the league phases. And then the only ones that's worth mentioning in the qualifying round is Ajax. That's pretty much it for the teams. I can definitely see us beating a lot of those teams and quite easily, especially if we get that striker in. If we get that striker in, we can definitely go on and win the Europa League. Yeah. I can also see us doing a double this year. I can see us winning the Carabao Cup. I think the Carabao Cup is I wouldn't say easy, but it's a competition we can win, especially with the youth players we have. I think Ange would definitely play them in those in the early rounds, especially if we draw correctly against some easier lower teams. We'll definitely play like a Bargwell, Mikey Moore, and Paul. I will play all of those in those early rounds. I could definitely see us going on to win that, just based on our youth system. But I think, I definitely can see us winning a trophy this season.
Love it.
I really hope so. I really hope that, we do get in some players that Ange needs, but also I think Ange has to maybe be willing to use some of these youngsters where maybe he wasn't so keen last year, and hopefully we can all sing Kumbaya on our way to a trophy. Eddie, that would be absolutely unbelievable, because that is what we all want at the end of the day. But Eddie, I want to say thank you very much to you for coming over, joining us on Tifo for our Euro watch-alongs and stuff like that, and also kicking us off to here today. I really enjoyed these conversations, my man.
Nah, it's too easy, mate. Too easy. It's not that late here in Australia, so I'm always happy to come on.
Nicely done. Nicely done, Edward.
Appreciate it, my man. Have a good one.
Have a good one, Edward.
See ya.
Bye-bye. See ya. Bye-bye. 3 o'clock in the morning where Eddie is, you know, and he's dedicated. A bit like me. He likes talking to his old lad about football and running things by him and stuff like that. I like that. But sorry, Jack, I rudely cut across you.
No. I was going to say, he kind of reminded me, we'll talk to him in a second, he reminded me kind of Michael from Poland, where sometimes Michael, right, answers his own questions kind of like in his own line of logic, where just as you're about to ask that question, he kind of asks it to himself and makes it even easier to do the fan shows with someone who can certainly do that. But big up to Edward. He's come a long way. He's very, very confident for a guy at 3 a.m. as well. Absolutely well spoken.
Wide awake, which is probably concerning. Probably a bit of a night owl. Eddie, go get a bit of sleep. Great input. You're absolutely right there, guys. It was a good conversation. Really enjoyed it. I just want to say hello to Lisa. Oh, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Take this from Spurs GCTV. We can't have it both ways. If Emerson is rated at 20 mil, we need to hold out for it. Every penny we get for outgoings helps with the incomings. No, look, 100% there is that to it. Look, the likes of Jed Spence, I would be taking, just get him off the books, you know, that was on loan. Someone that was in the squad last year, okay, 200. We can hold out for that value, but someone like Jed Spence, where we won't lower the price for Genoa, and knowing that there's no money around Europe, just to get him off the books, it's absolutely madness. There has to be a bit of give and take with it, to be brutally honest with you. Big up, Ange Ball, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. And then I do want to bring on Ribsy and kick it off with Phil Coy's chat here, because it is something that he put in. I did tell him that we'd get it answered, and we will bring in Ribsy on this. First of all, Ribsy, good afternoon. Shall I say good evening, good morning. I don't know what to say to you right now. It's very late where you are, but how are you keeping, my man?
Oh, I think we have you on mute, Ribsy.
You're on mute, lad.
My bad. My bad. Sorry, guys.
There it is.
No, I'm good. I'm good, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
No, I appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. But Eddie sort of mentioned it in his last conversation that he thinks someone like Tyrese Hall will come up and maybe a couple of other midfielders. And Phil Coyes has sort of maybe expanded this as well, saying I think midfielders are the least of our problems. Wingers are the issue for Ange's system to work on. Also, players in the back line who can play multiple positions. What do you guys think? But look, I'm actually going to be dropping a video this week on the 5 academy prospects I think Ange will keep around and the reasons why and stuff like that. I think it's a very well thought out video, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And I'm sort of in agreement with that. I don't think we are going to lunge into the market for midfielders. You got Madison, Bentancur, Papa Matasar, Basuma still there. You got Bergval coming in, Tyrese Hall coming through. You know, Jamie Donnelly, whether they see him as a cam or a winger or a striker, I'm not quite sure where they see him there. But, you know, we've got plenty of sort of options there. Do you agree with that assumption, Ribsy? Or do you think Spurs should be in the market? Because there are a lot of other people out there that say that midfield was shit last year, left themselves way too open.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did have a bit of a stop-start with injuries and that sort of thing through the midfield. I mean, obviously, Bentancur came back early, looked pretty good. Then it seemed to taper off a bit form-wise. Basuma, same sort of thing. I don't know whether you guys remember before last season, everyone was really serious about this being the big Basuma season. And you guys asked in the preseason thing to what you thought was going to be, who was going to be the biggest flop of the season. And I said, just kind of jokingly, because everyone was so serious about Basuma, I said Basuma, because I'm like, well, you know, everyone's so excited about how he's going to play. I'm like, even if he's only half as good as that, maybe that you can call him a flop. And look, I mean, I will say that I was both right and wrong in that, because he was sensational in the first, you know, sort of up until Christmas, and then pretty freaking bad after that. So, obviously, Geez, did they have the African? God, I've already started to lose my memory of last season. Was the African Cup? Yeah. So he went to that, obviously, and yeah. So I agree and disagree with the idea of filling the midfield up with the young guys, because it could work. It could be brilliant, or they could just be completely out of their depth and snap a leg and be out for 9 months or whatever. So it's impossible to know for sure. Obviously, those guys know in the club know the players better than I know. So I just have to trust their opinion on that, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, no, I hear it. I hear what people are saying. Like if you do, I mean, obviously, with Højbjerg wants to go. And obviously we'll have to find some sort of replacement there. But if the replacement is available within the club and they're not far off what we're looking at bringing in, I mean, Ed before was talking about the kid from Leeds. What's his name? Gray or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously a talented kid, but I mean, as people are saying, we've got talented kids of our own. What is there a massive difference between him and the kids we've already got, or is it?
1 year's experience at men's levels football, but Leeds had the balls to give him that.
Yeah, but they're also playing a division down. So I mean, if we were in the Championship, we'd probably be playing Divine or whoever as well. So, But I mean that's not what we're doing because we're not there. So no, I get what you're saying though. He's had that level of play. So that's the responsibility of our club to find those loan moves and ensure that our players are getting played. I mean, how many times every season do we hear we've sent one of our kids off and they've gone to a good club like the Argentinian kid that went to Spain last season, and I think Divine had a crummy loan, and that the kid that we sold to Sunderland had like 2 crummy loans back to back, and then it's just how often do we hear that we've sent these guys off? They're supposed to be getting experience, they get none, and then we just shrug and go, oh well, we'll try again next season. It's like, well, they're not going anywhere. We're just throwing money in the furnace. They may as well be playing in our under 21 team, but but you got to trust those clubs to play them. I guess you can't force them. I mean, you can have a contract or whatever with them in an agreement, but at the end of the day,
do you know what it is for me? It's also sending them out to clubs where they don't play the same style of football the way Tottenham does. And I know it's going to be hard to replicate Ange ball, but ideally you want to be sending them to clubs that build up from the back. Same sort of ideas and philosophies, right? And we always pick the wrong sort of loan moves. And I'd argue a lot of the players get washed up because they go out on loan, knowing there's no route to the first team. And they just sort of, find their way eventually. But, I think for us, I think it's about time. And I think we're looking to do this summer, I'd hope, clear the pathway. They're all on long-term contracts. So it's not like the club have any plans to let a lot of them go anytime soon. So let's wait and see what happens in that regard. But I'm a big advocate. I think with some of the ones we've got coming through, I actually think you're going to lose the player if you send them out on loan. For me, I think you have to have them because next season there's a 60-game season. You can have them a hybrid between under 21s and when you want to rotate players and stuff like that, the options are there. And Arsenal used it like Saka, Smith Rowe, people like that, and look where they are now. So it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to maybe go down that path this season.
But honestly, then you look at. I mean, when we had Nuno in, right, and we played that Europa League or Europa Conference League preliminary match in Portugal against Passos de Ferreira or whatever they're called, and we took a bunch of kids over to that, and they played like shit. Like they were terrible. And it wasn't just the kids; it was also we took Carter Vickers over there, and Davies had no interest. They were like everyone played bad. It wasn't just the kids, but there has been times when at this club we have tried to do that. We've tried to get the kids into the team, and sometimes it seems like our academy isn't up to snuff compared to some of the other. Obviously, there's been some time between then and now, and things are different, and we are building on that, and the club has been talking about building on that, but still,
Richie, I know. Yeah, Dave. Oh.
Just one quick counter to that, just quickly, and then we'll let Jacko in. Is, you know, compared to years gone by, these kids have won under 17s, under 18s, and under 21s, you know. Compared to years gone by where they were barely competing, these guys have actually gone on and smashed their individual age group. So I think it's a bit different. I think there's no better time than now. Just because you were burnt by something past, it doesn't mean you shouldn't revisit and try and do it a different way again. But sorry, Jacko, over to you. I keep cutting you off today, my man.
No, it's okay. I
think I did before too.
I'm going to put myself on mute for 5 minutes.
I do it to everyone else. It's about time it happens to me. You even kind of just went me on a tiny tangent, but the fact that certain guys like from Aston Villa and Chelsea academies are being sold for like 20, 25 million euros right now also speaks to how good the academy could be, because some of these guys are actually backups to some of our own players who play for the England under 19s or under 21s. And these kids are going for like 20 million euros. What does that mean? Jamie Donnelly could be valued at. He could be valued at 30 million, 40 million if I were being generous, right, at this point in time. So as much as, yes, they're not proven, yes, some people might not think they're totally ready, they are highly, highly rated, you know, by the looks of things. So they eventually need that chance. But Ribsy, I know you had a point to show us about your thoughts on the kits here. Thought I'd maybe just do a quick side-by-side to show what maybe Ribsy is referring to. We see Mickey Van de Ven here in the new away kit. And then Ribsy, just bear with me one moment. And then I'm going to try to bring up the next kind of demonstration of what you think this is most similar to. This is when Dave referenced a carpet. Is this what inspired in your head?
Yeah, so this is an ocean liner from like the late 1950s. It's actually a nuclear-powered ocean liner. It was a really cool article I was reading about a merchant ship that had a nuclear reactor in it. But anyway, for whatever reason, I was flicking through it and just scrolling past this picture, and I'm like, wait a minute, that looks very similar to me to the new third kit that we got at the moment. Obviously, the colors are a bit darker, but you leave that in the sun for a bit longer, and mate, you got a kit brewing.
You pour some, spill some Kool-Aid on it, like a blue version. It's definitely our
That's
kit.
it.
Is this where Nike got their inspiration from, you think?
Oh yeah, I reckon when they were looking for kits, they were just trolling through carpets from ocean like wine and ocean spray soaked carpets from the 1950s, and they were like, "Here's the one, we found it."
Nike's really thinking outside the box these days with the design, so I wouldn't put it past them to all of a sudden just be looking through ocean liner catalogs and that sort of thing. It's becoming a bit crazy, all the different designs, but certainly don't want to finish on that. So Ribsy, any other kind of talking points that maybe you want to bring up? The strikers like Jonathan David, we've been linked to, Santiago Jimenez. Any thoughts on some of the strikers that we've been linked to? Some of my last question.
I do. I mean, the list was getting pretty long there about the players that we were interested in. So I was getting a little concerned that perhaps we were just, we were just holding open tryouts or something. But look, it's the club has, reading between the lines, presumably the club has used what's his name, Ali Gold, as sort of a press release there to sort of cut that list down from some of the more outlandish ones. And I don't disagree with that. Some of them, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them could have done a job. I mean, who knows? You're taking a punt with pretty much anyone when you bring them in. I mean, even Premier League strikers that are more or less proven, guys like Tony, I mean, they come with their own, set of concerns and problems that obviously all of us are aware of. It's not like it's a secret that he's got,
fair point.
Obviously had a ban and had people have had have described his attitude problems and that sort of thing in the past. I don't think that Ange would have any problem dealing with someone with an attitude problem. I don't think that's, but he also just wouldn't play them. So that's how he'd deal with them. He'd just tell them to sit in the changing room and watch it on TV. But that's not much use to us when we need them to score goals, is it? So I get I'm not a huge fan of the Canadian kid. I'm sorry. I mean, he seems like a great guy. He seems fast and stuff, but I mean, the little I've seen of him between playing in the French league, which is not really of the caliber of the Premier League, and playing in the Copper just recently.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's the right guy, does he? We've already got a handful of guys who can run fast and miss the goal. I mean, we don't need another one.
You never know. Maybe that's what Ange is going for. Maybe that's his target.
We're collecting them.
We're collecting the fastest, biggest sitter missing strikers across Europe and see what we could do with it. But Jonathan David, he has good numbers in Liga. I look forward to seeing how this rumor develops because he has good numbers in Liga. It's just any time that I think the majority fan, the regular fan like us, gets to see him, has been in World Cups, Copa America, that type of thing. And I feel like he's done quite poorly, if I can remember, in some of those bigger moments and some of those bigger games where the rest of us get to see him. Whereas probably someone who watches Liga quite regularly might have a very different opinion. But sure, I'm looking forward to it. Ribsy, thank you so much for staying up this evening. Guys. And hopefully you get to watch Modric with Dave later in the evening as well. And thanks for always coming on the fan shows when you can and just being a rock of this show. Appreciate you.
No worries, guys. Catch you later. Thanks.
Catch you, Ribsy.
See you again and have a conversation, my man. Thank you, Ribsy.
Cheers, lads.
Enjoy the Euros, my man. Hopefully, I'll give you a text during the game. We can reminisce about Luka Modric, my man. Have a good one.
Sounds good. See you.
See you, lad. Bye-bye. Another great conversation there from Ribsy. I mean, I need to move to Australia and stay up to 3 a.m. It seems to give these guys sense, so that's what I need to do. I need to get over there for this 3 a.m. Just quickly take a couple of comments. But Phil, hopefully you enjoyed that conversation off the back of that. Just quickly, BSD says we can't throw under 21 players into competitive games cold. There has to be a period of them training with the senior squad to get used to the pace and aggression. Well, look, hold on. Just wait for my video to drop this week. I'm going to do my best to get it out for you guys Wednesday morning. Finish it off tomorrow. Get it out Wednesday morning. And nice. Hopefully a lot of people watch it, and hopefully all you guys do me a favor and share it all around. And people actually, because a lot of them have trained with the under-21s this season, and Postecoglou was name-checked a couple specifically saying that they're great talents and that when they've trained with them, the standard or the level hasn't dropped. That's very important and that's key. So they have trained with the senior team all last season, and I think it's in a view of maybe bringing some of them, I hope, through this season. I mean, who doesn't want another Ledley King and Harry Kane, right? We've got Mark Cook, member for 6 months. Great show as always, lads. Keep up the great work. Marky Cook, great to see you, my man. And hopefully you're keeping well. Really appreciate the support. You'll remember longer than 6 months, by the way. So it's short-changing you there. I'm not, sometimes things happen, but look, a lot longer than 6 months. So really appreciate the support. Anything you want to say to Mark, Jack?
No, thanks, Mark, for leading the Mark Army, for being also the Mark Cook of the Mark Army, which I think is a great name. So appreciate you, sir. And thank you for all the support over these months. And like Dave said, I think you've been with us a lot longer than that. So thank you for your support over these years.
No, I really appreciate it, my man. Big yourself up. Just want to say hi to Long as well, being linked to and actually getting and being brought in are two totally different things. I will believe it when announced in the squad team sheet. No, look, 100%. Look, when me and Jack come out with our transfer stuff, we'll say whether we think it's legit or whether
I think I said I look forward to seeing how this develops as well, Longy. I think we'll see if this goes away or whether it just, continues to surface up. So we'll find out. Big up, Longy.
Big up, Longy. Good to see you, but you're absolutely spot on there. I mean, look, anyone that knows me knows I absolutely hate the transfer window. I just want to sit there and watch Tottenham. So it drives me absolutely mad. But good to see you, Steve. Welcome in, Peter, as well. Great to see you. And then we'll answer this for Ange Baldrig's putting a few questions there. He says, could we go and get a Nicholas Fulkrug? Lukaku, I'm not even going to talk about. He's such a waste of space. He's a donkey. He's so slow. He looks way off at the Euros. I know he's got a lot of disallowed goals, but my thing is stay on side then. But Jack, Nicholas Fulkrug. Would you take him?
I don't. No, not really, because I think he's more of just your regular target man striker. And I think if we're going to go for something like that, I think there are younger and potentially better options. Don't get me wrong. I'm in my Nicholas Fulkrug era where I love strikers like that. They're some of my favorite types, but for what Spurs need in the long term, as well as for right now, I think there are technically better options out there than Fulkrug, personally.
Well, there you Ange Ball. Let me know, my man. Let me know what you think on Jack's words there. Guys, if you could, just quickly, as we go along, keep smashing that like button if you're enjoying the conversation. Feel free to throw questions in there. We'll start them and we'll get through as many as we can along with the guests that come on. If you want to really stand out or you like the work we do and you want to support it, feel free to hit that super chat function and put in whatever you want. Stop us immediately and join in on the conversation. Also, if you want to get involved as well, why not grab one of their memberships, come on and have your say. But look, let's keep it moving because your boy does want to get off and watch Luka Modric today. Let's bring on the one and only Mr. Maddox. Let's see how he is. Shawnee, how are you keeping, sir?
I'm doing well. Again, I actually have some opinions on that Full Creek shout.
Okay.
I don't think it's as bad depending on price. If you can bring him in for 10 mil and another striker, like one of the ones off the list we're actually looking at, again, he kind of gives me those Fernando Llorente vibes. Again, if the striker they bring in isn't a big target man, if you could get him on the cheap, it would be another kind of attacking option just to change it up a little bit. But again, that's price dependent. I wouldn't pay more than 10 mil for him. But I don't think it's a terrible.
Sorry,
I don't think it's a terrible shout if essentially they bring in the right striker on top of it, because it's almost a stopgap to maybe see if any of those academy lads make it a little bit further to a degree. So it's not a terrible shout, but it's very short term. I mean, he's like 31 right now. So it's kind of more, you can get him for dirt cheap. I mean, Llorente was great for us for a season or two as just an option to provide something a little different.
Is that like a way to save money for like an Eze deal or something similar to that? Or is that to save money for an even better striker to bring along with Fulkrug, in your opinion?
No, you get a better striker in. You don't stop at Fulkrug.
So it's not Fulkrug and Richarlison. It's kind of like Fulkrug and then another striker as well.
And it's like Fulkrug and Sesko, Fulkrug and Openda. It's essentially getting the numbers up there. Maybe you give some time for Valise to develop. Then Fulkrug moves on. Valise takes that more dominant aerial big guy role in the team.
Well, look, I like Fulkrug. I think he could offer something a little bit different, but the age, does put me off a little. But look, Shawnee, what I want to ask you about, Fulkrug, no Fulkrug, all the other lists that Ali Gold has linked us today in terms of strikers. I mean, realistically, I don't think any of them are better than Richarlison, and I'm not being biased here. I just don't think Santiago Jimenez is going to come in here and bang 25 goals in the Premier League, which is the step we need to be taking. I don't think Gyökeres might, but we're not going to pay that money. I don't think Jonathan David is going to be that guy either. So, and I believe Spurs are open to serious offers for Richarlison. But my problem is we need two strikers at Tottenham, not one, and they created the issue in the first place. So would you sell Richarlison, or do you think we need to keep him and add?
Again, I think you keep him and add. You maybe look at selling him next year. Again, I just don't see us being able to bring in two strikers that are of a higher caliber, or one that's the same caliber and a higher caliber striker. Again, I think you kind of have some other priorities in the squad. If you're keeping Richarlison as a depth player, what you need to do is spend 60 mil, bring in a top striker, and fix some of the other holes in this squad. Again, we have multiple windows to kind of make this work. It's not all going to get done this summer. We want to see how you can integrate some of the youth before necessarily shelling out excessively in some of those other positions. So again, you choose a few priority positions: striker, another midfielder, and a winger, and then some competition / cover at fullback. And again, I think that is enough in this window, plus any other thing that is too good to pass up. Again, if some crazy player goes on, or you find out a player is on like an insane release clause, or a club's desperate to sell after you've addressed those core areas, then you kind of are looking at, okay, will this player improve the squad? Is this a good deal? And you maybe gamble on one or two of those, because I think a lot of it depends on how many people you get out of the squad as well.
Very true. And speaking of players getting out of the squad, Emerson Royale deal kind of stalling, Jet Spence deal collapsing. Do you see either of those getting done relatively soon, or could those deals collapse, do you think?
I don't. With those specific clubs, you might see a different club pick it up. Deals will get done. I just don't know. With the Italian clubs, they always come in and are like, we don't have enough money, and it's a bit of a stally transfer to kind of bridge that valuation gap. The deal usually gets done at some point. It's really just about being creative, or sometimes waiting for a few other moving pieces to either clear up some money on one of the other sides, or for someone else to come in and just take that deal over and be like, no, we want this player right now. Here's the money, get it done. Because again, I think Emerson has shown to be a fairly decent, reliable player that would fit fairly well in a more defensive system. And again, it seems like Spence has had a pretty good loan spell, and he's going for fairly cheap compared to what we paid for him. Again, I think those are all recoupable fees.
Do you think do you agree with Dave that Emerson is the one that's perhaps more okay to price negotiate a bit more on, have Levy kind of go through his stuff, but then the Jet Spence one, Dave seems to think is a little silly to do the price negotiation on?
Again, I don't think we're going to get as much value for Jet Spence. He just has not been reliable where he's been. And the other thing I'd say about Emerson is, if we don't sell Emerson this year, then we just don't replace or get that backup for Porro at right back this season, and we can look at that again in January. So I don't think that's as big a hole in the squad, where, again, I don't prioritize that compared to the other issues that we need to address. Again, I'm much more concerned about having Davies out of the squad and a left back that we can rely on. Because again, you know, he is not going to be 100% injury free. He may pick up a suspension or have some reason where he has to be out of the team for a few games. He can't play every game. So you need another option, because when we put Ben Davies in at left back, the squad is unbalanced and a lot weaker. Where
completely agree.
With essentially Emerson Royale, he's fine at right back. Again, it's a drop off, but he can at least hold the shape and defend at a competent level. Again, he's not a great cover for left back, but again, he's not a left back.
But you know what?
All his flack came from performances on the left side in a position he doesn't play.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. I actually had no problems with Emerson at right back or centre back this season. It was when he went out to left back, when we came up against the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, teams like that, is where he really got exposed. But you know, I almost feel like Ben Davies has done him a disservice, or you know, disservice by going out injured, because it's almost shoehorned Emerson into a position, you know, that it's right footed on the left side. He's constantly going to be cutting inside and not doing what Ange wants that fullback to do on that side, the way Adoji was playing and stuff like that. And now it looks like Emerson's going to be out the club yet again before Davies. I mean, this guy's an absolute genius at holding on to his position and his contract at Tottenham Hotspur. But do you know what? I'm telling you now, I think it's not even on his end. The club are going to keep Ben Davies this season yet again, whether Ange wants him here or not, purely because this is where I like the guy. I hate him as a footballer, but this is where I like the guy. He does an insane amount of charity work for the club, insane amount of guest appearances, media duties, etc. Look at the amount of videos that come out on Spurs playing YouTube channels. He's always in it. You know, it's in players' contracts to do these duties, but he goes above and beyond and does more than anybody. And for that alone is why this club is going to keep him here. And I don't think it's good enough whatsoever. I've campaigned, you know, since I started YouTube. The guy's never been good enough. He needs to go. But unfortunately, I'm resigned to it. However, you know what? There was something he said about Emerson. It'll come back to me anyway, so I just need to get off my chest about Davies. But I think you were going to retort anyway.
Oh no, I just have a question. If we signed another left back, would you be as mad if they left Davies in the background as like a club figure?
No problem. No problem.
Again, I feel like he would be someone I could imagine just going into like the coaching and kind of doing his badges at Spurs. And again, as long as we don't have to rely on him when there's an injury as the only option, I really don't mind him being there in the background, not playing.
Do you know what? Just on that, just quickly, it's sort of, I do and I don't have a problem with it. Look, I don't have a problem with it because, yeah, fine, you know, bring someone else in, let him be the media guy or whatever, no problem. But second of all, I think a club guy should be someone like Ledley King, you know, who gave unbelievable service performances on the pitch, you know, for this football club. And that's why he's an ambassador going around on match day and stuff like that. He deserves it. You know, someone like Ben Davies, for his performances on the pitch, should be nowhere near being a club ambassador, in my opinion. But look, if we bring in another left back to give a dodgy, you know, competition, I'm more than happy if he wants to sit around there in the background, no problem. Because look, he doesn't kick up. He doesn't really cause too much of a fuss. I think the only time he did was under Nuno, which I still haven't forgiven him for by getting Nuno out the door. But, you know, like you said, Sean, it's all about competition. Before Dozie went injured, he slacked off for the last 5 or 6 games before that. And the reason why is because there's no one under Downey's spot. Ange can't take him out the team because Davies is so far off his level. You know, so it's sort of, then all of a sudden, Ange's competence is called into question. In order for this shit, then this cycle to stop, we need to be more ruthless in the market. But Shawnee, you've got me alive, my man. I really do appreciate it. Really appreciate this conversation, my man. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Yeah, no, again, I think the only thing I want to say is we aren't going to see a lot of like announcements and deals kind of done until kind of the Euros and finishes. The only good news is England's going to crash out early, so we can get that as a deal across the line. It takes some slack for that comment there, but no, again, so I think it's really in the next 2 weeks or so. I think we'll probably start to see some stuff. So my hope is just that Spurs haven't been sitting on their laurels like they have done under some of the previous guys in charge. Again, Spurs should have a bunch of deals negotiated. There should be advanced stages, talking to the clubs so we can get a bunch of business done before preseason. Because that's my concern right now. It is that if Spurs are taking too much time to get the players, I don't care what time we get the players out, but we need to get the new guys in so they can get that preseason.
Yeah.
And again, I don't feel like there's an excuse to sit there and because other clubs will have those deals lined up.
Yeah.
So again, I have faith in Paratici and kind of the way that he's been running things behind the scenes as our consultant.
Yeah.
But again, I think that'll be kind of the key thing is.
Yeah. No, look, I completely agree with you. And this is, you know, if we want to hit the ground running next year, really achieve what Ange wants, you know, preseason is where, you know, the patterns of play are achieved, where they get used to each other and not feeling each other out the first 5 games of the Premier League. You know, now you can only afford to lose 2 or 3 games all season. So, you know, it would be the wise option. Let's see whether we undertake that. But Shawnee, really appreciate all your support over on Tifo, my man. Make sure you get on with us this week at halftime and have more conversations. We'll have big games coming up. I get a headache. I get confused. I don't know what nation you're supporting from time to time. But look, you know, it's good fun. You keep me entertained, my man. Thank you.
All right, come on, you Spurs, and Viva España.
Well done, son. Well done, Sean. See you later, sir.
Today. Big up, Shawnee. Really appreciate that, my man. I really like this guy, Shawnee. Really like him. Big
Classy.
up. Everyone big him up in the comments as well. He does crack me up, so he does. He follows England, USA,
Under
Spain
21s.
now. Yeah, under 21s. You know, he's my sort of guy. He watches a lot of football. My sort of guy. Big up, Paro Miguel Escobardo. Good to see you.
Paro.
Christopher Inshaw as well. And all there, Fasir as well. Great to see all you guys popping in. Guys, keep getting your questions in for me and Jack in the chat. We're multitasking today. Actually, I'm very good at it. We're in the chat and we're speaking to people. So let's keep communicating, but also let's keep this moving because we don't have long before my guy Luka Modric is on. So we'll take these 3 guests. If there is anybody out there that does want to come on, make it known now. I'll give you 2 minutes. Can't be more far than that. And then I will have to take out the link because Luka Modric is calling. But let's keep it going. I believe next guest is Jacko. If it's still in order, is it Michael?
Michael, then Rufus, then Sam.
Ah, love it, love it. Michael, how are you keeping, my man?
Good go, guys. Long time no here.
Good to see you.
How was your Euros been? Not good.
As expected, honestly. Like, I think the non-delusional Polish fans knew that we are the weakest team in the group, and unfortunately, it went exactly as I saw it, right? Exactly as I predicted it, right? It's,
do you know what?
Yeah.
I was a bit upset because you had a great game against, was it the Netherlands, if I'm correct? I think you gave them a right game. I was absolutely loving it from the Polish, but sort of died out since then.
Yeah, like it's a really like a long topic, the Polish national team, right? I think from the depths of hell that we were in just like half a year ago under Renato, the Santos guy, you know, the Portuguese manager we hired him, it was an absolute shit show with him. Even the guy before that, the guy that was our coach at the World Cup in Qatar, like he was trash too, right? And there were a lot of like outside of football things going on, like with the national team, with like involving money, politics, and all that, just right. So from that depths of hell to honestly qualify to the Euros and not embarrass ourselves, maybe like we still have a game against France, so I don't want to say those words lightly, right? But I just hope we show that we actually want to play football, and I'm fine with it, right? I honestly treat this tournament as a write-off, let's call it, right? And I think we should focus on qualifying for the next one and showing up. There.
No, you will. You'll benefit from it in the long run. I think that's what something like Ireland are trying to do at the minute. Just quickly, big up Donovan Oosterreich as well. Good to see you. How's life down in Canada? Please do get in the chat and let us know. But Jacko, where are we going to kick Michael off? Or Michael, have you anything you want to bring up first?
Strikers, Michael.
Go for it, boys. Oh,
strikers, man. Jonathan David, Santiago Jimenez. Everybody's been linked with us, but then now it seems like Alasdair Gold is making some indications of which ones Spurs are more linked with and ones they're less interested in. What do you make of the fact that Jonathan David is so high up the list and Santiago Jimenez is maybe very far away from the list?
I'm honestly not sure what to think of it all, right? I have to say that like during Euros and international tournaments, I tend to like not necessarily distance myself from the rumors, but I tend to take them like lightly, because I think if any of the players are at the tournament, nothing is going to happen unless their country gets knocked out. That's the way I see it, right? Because like even if you want to like strictly say it, right, the player has to be there to sign the papers, right? It cannot be done by anyone else. It has to be the player, right? So the player won't leave the camp to go to sign the papers, right? It's not feasible. But with the names themselves, right? It's really strange because I like the names that we are being linked with, but I also am not like wowed by it. But then again, there aren't many names that would really like wow me, if you get what I'm saying, right? I think that whilst like strictly profile-wise and skill-wise, I think Ivan Toney is the best like of the bunch of the guys that we've been linked with. I'm extremely concerned with all the off-the-pitch stuff with him, right? I would really love to avoid the situation like Newcastle are in with Tonali. Like I don't want us to get involved with it if we aren't 100% sure that it's not going to happen, right? Even though, as I said, I think like purely profile wise, I think he's like what we are looking for in our like also in our price range. He's homegrown, like a lot of things stick with Ivan Toney, right? But I am extremely concerned with the of the field stuff.
Yeah,
I think Jimenez, I think he has all the attributes of like a great link-up striker and all that, but I think he lacks in finishing. I kid you not, like his first touch, his passing, his running of the ball, he's like I like it all, right? But the finishing itself is not like at the level, in my opinion. But he's 22, so then again, you can make an argument that he can improve on that, right? Then like next, Jonathan David. I think he's a skillful player, but I am like a bit concerned because I think, if I remember correctly, he's like 1.75 m or something.
Yeah, he's not very tall.
Yeah, he's not very tall, and I think we need that like tall striker to be there for the end of the crosses and all that. Just right. I think we severely lack the attacking threat from the set pieces. Unless it's like Romero scoring, right? Because Romero is really good at it, right? But it's one guy in our team.
You basically need the opposite to Son up front.
Yeah. Basically that, right? So that's why I'm not necessarily keen on David. As much as I appreciate his skill, I don't think he like suits what we need profile wise, right? I think if he played more like, let's say, if we had more a system more like Liverpool, let's call it, right? And if he was our Firmino and we had goal-scoring wingers on both sides like Salah and Mane used to be, right, with that front three of Liverpool, I think then Jonathan David would make much more sense, in my opinion. But I think with the profile of wingers that we have, Son is scoring a lot, right? But the other side is like more of the assisting type of a winger, right? So I think we need a goal scorer in the middle, right? And I'm tall, muscly goal scorer that can link up play and also score headers himself, right? So that's it basically. So go on, Jack.
So when Sean, one of our previous callers, when Sean said he wouldn't be against someone like a Niklas Füllkrug, are you also kind of in a similar bracket where like that's the type of mold of a player that you would look at? Someone who's a big kind of brute of a man, big brute of a striker, kind of target style guy. And he said that he's not a bad option for what we technically need right now. And then he would go for a younger player to develop for the future. I'm not sure if you heard what he said, but would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think Füllkrug is profile-wise what we need, but I don't think it is Füllkrug himself. Because I think with the way we are doing our business and all that stuff, I think Füllkrug is like 31 or something, right? Or 30, something along the lines. I don't think we'll go for a 30-year-old striker. I think we'll try to search for someone else, right? That's why I'm like, of the names that we've been linked with, I think at least I thought Jimenez will be the most likely, but it seems that we are distancing ourselves from the deal, right? So I'm not really sure, but I think because I said there aren't many names that wow me. I think there is one, but it will never happen. I think Vlahovic, for the profile of player, I think he would be the perfect type of striker. But I don't think it's ever happening, right? Thiago Motta just arrived at Juventus. Like they are actually spending money. They look to be ambitious, right? And I just don't see a reason why Vlahovic would leave Juventus to play with us. As much as it hurts me to say, especially because we are Spurs, I guess if we were like Manchester City or Liverpool, I guess the pool would be much higher, right? But other than that, I don't think we can offer like much bigger wages than Juventus. I don't think we can offer something that Juventus can't, right? So, but I think profile-wise, that would be the ideal striker for me. So I hope we find someone like him. And that's the way I see it, right?
And also as well with kind of players that are linked with leaving the club, Emerson Royale, that deal's been stalling. Jed Spence's deal could be collapsing. Do you see Spurs being ruthless this summer with outgoings? Dave kind of said 20 million on Emerson. He understands why Spurs are negotiating because he actually played a bit last season. Whereas with Jed Spence, he doesn't really see why Spurs are negotiating because the guy doesn't have much of a future. Do you agree with that? And do you think Spurs will be different this year with outgoings, or will it just be same old Levy haggling?
I'll also just add in on there just quickly, Michael. The reason why I think we can actually go for the 25 million recoup what we paid for Emerson, because I don't think his value has depreciated since joining Tottenham. Whereas Jed Spence, he's out on loan, he's just a waste. You know what we haggling for?
Yeah. So yeah, I completely agree with the Jed Spence thing. I mean, sorry, I agree with both points, right? I think I am extremely pissed that the Jed Spence thing didn't happen yet. Like, I don't see a reason why we are stalling so much. I don't see a reason why we are haggling with Genoa. Like, clearly they used him, right? They want him. We don't want him. So what's the problem, right? I think this is the issue that pisses off the fans the most with the way we approach transfers and dealings, right? But I also have to say that with Emerson Royal, I agree that we shouldn't, like, because of the type of players we are talking about, I think we shouldn't be haggling over Jed Spence, but we should be like more strict with the Royal thing, because as you guys said, he actually played something, right? He played minutes. It's not like he was a complete bench player that had like 90 minutes throughout the whole season. I actually think that we used him, and if he stays, it's not like it's a. I mean,
it's not the end of the world for you.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I mean, yes, skill-wise, I would like someone better, right? Let's be honest about it.
But he's not top priority out the door for you.
Yeah, but he's not top priority, and if he stays, I will be like not happy with it, but I will be relatively okay with it, right? Whereas with Jed Spence, I seriously don't care if he leaves or not. I mean, I want him to leave, right? I want him to leave, so I don't understand why we are haggling so much. And especially because like the reported prices are like 8 million euros or something, and they wanted to pay us like 7 or 6 or something. Like, I get it, it's 1 million euros. Of course, I would want 1 million euros for myself, right? But in that context of like club football, I don't think it's much. So yeah, that's the way I see it, right? But yeah, honestly, with the whole like transfer thing, as I said, I think a lot more movement will happen when teams start dropping out of the competitions, right? Because like Euros, teams are slowly getting dropped. We were the first ones, by the way. Last ones to join, first ones to leave, by the way. Yeah, but,
proud record.
Yeah, proud record. But I think like teams are starting to drop out of the tournament. So I think things will start going in July. I think we will start seeing more movement in July.
Okay.
I'm not really like paying much attention, as I said right now. Of course, I'm keeping tabs. But I try not to get too excited, right? Because I've seen some brilliant links where I'm like, wow, if we brought this player, I would be like over the moon, right? I think like Calafiori, like perfect for our system. I think he can cover Van de Ven's position and cover left back, right? Which is basically like a second Van de Ven. I think he's a brilliant player, right? I think I've seen us linked with Ederson, brilliant player in my opinion. I think he would be perfect for the system, right? I've seen us linked with Vanderson. I think also like a great player, but the price is a bit too high, right? I see those links, but I know not much will happen now, so I try not to get too excited, because then I will be disappointed if it doesn't happen, right? I want to, like, slow cook this transfer window. Let's call it that way, right?
That's a healthy approach. Michael, last one from me here, because I feel like your guy might have a strong opinion. I'm not so sure.
I can't see that. It hurts.
What do you think? Would you buy this for 150 quid, which it seems to be going for?
For 20, maybe I would, but maybe for 20 quid. But I kid you not, like I really don't like this design. I don't want to say what it reminds me of, because I think it might get you guys demonetized.
Well, Dave went pretty far with saying it looked like a sleazy certain establishment. So Dave went pretty far with
Gentleman's Club.
Gentleman's Club. That's what he said. So I'm afraid if you could go further than that, I am afraid.
Try and word it in a way that is acceptable. We'll put your test to the dictionary of the dictionary here.
But how should I put it? Like, first of all, I don't want to be offensive by saying it, right? But I kid you not, it reminds me of. Do you know the film Pianist? About the pianist from Warsaw.
The Oscar-winning film.
The Oscar-winning film, right? And the context of the nationality and the.
I'm not sure if I even saw it.
where people of this certain nationality struggled in World War II. Like I don't know how to say it, but it seriously reminds me of this type of uniform. I kid you not, like, it's honestly, like, I absolutely hate it. I hate the fact that it's not symmetric. I hate the fact that the logo is in the middle. Like, that's absolutely shambolic for me. The only thing that works for me in this kit is the fact that the AIA sign is not red. That's the only thing that works for me.
The AIA sign, yeah.
The AIA sign is not red. That's the only thing that I like about it, right? Because, like, I kid not, I don't know how to put it the other way. I like our first kits, and I'm not really against the third kit if the leaks are true, right? Because the leaks where it's like a green, something kit. Although I have to say, in general, I think Nike have absolutely, like, the most boring designs for like 4 or 5 years already, right? I think those designs are just so simple. There is nothing about the history of the club. There is nothing about, like, us. There is nothing to be attached to with these kits unless we have some memories with it, right? Like the green kit from the Ajax game, right? A lot of people love it because we have, like, nice memories with it, right? But like, purely design-wise, I hate it, right? I hate most of the kits in terms of, like, they are just, like, simple for me. That there's not much happening. I would love if they returned back to the pattern of us having white home kits, yellow second kits, and navy blue third kits. I think that this is the best color scheme that we can have. And I absolutely love all the kits that are navy blue. Navy blue is one of my favorite colors. So whenever I see navy blue on our kits, I am absolutely, like, astounded, right?
Yeah.
Well, Michael, I'm glad that you and Dave are in agreement on this one. I might be shocking Dave with maybe some of my opinions tomorrow, because I don't know if I'm actually as hateful of it as clearly the rest of everybody, but you'll find out tomorrow in the video. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for being a great ambassador of the fan shows, as always, being an easy person to chat to, easy person to talk with, and look forward to have a deeper chat with you next time. But as Dave said, he's trying to see whatever he can left of Luka Modric and his
Luka could be his last competition,
Yeah.
Big up, Michael.
Right,
Thank you for being
patient.
I
will be watching the games too. So
Thanks
See you
for being
guys soon.
patient as well.
Michael. Enjoy
See you,
that as
man.
always, my man.
See ya.
Enjoy your evening, guys. Bye-bye.
Same to you, my man. Same to you. Everyone, big up Michael. Great conversation. I do love when Mick comes in and visits us. Big up, Mick. Really appreciate it. And it's sad it didn't go to their way in yours, because I was actually rooting for Poland against Netherlands, because they put on such a brave display. They really went for them. It was good to see. It's just sad it didn't work out, and sad with the Lewandowski injury as well. Obviously, didn't help.
True.
Bit sad. I did see them bring on a guy called Salmon. I was like, that's not a Polish last name. We had a guy up front years ago called Connor Salmon or something like that. And the journalists used to have a field day with that last name. I wonder, is he related? Because I believe he's got a bald head like him too. Maybe they're brothers or something like that. Spurs fan John says, are you guys getting worried about lack of transfer activity with preseason being so close? Nope, not whatsoever. We're not the only ones not moving in this market. It's a dead market. Look, not only the Euros, but there's a lot of complexities around the financial, clubs have to balance, English clubs have to balance their books by the end of this month and stuff like that. There's a Europe sort of broke as well. They're having to balance books with all the financial regulations coming in, stuff like that. So it's a bit more complications right now. I think they're just trying to work out how to circumvent the rules yet again. But I think once the Euros stop, because Eze said it as well. Was it Eze or someone? No, Højbjerg's agent said it. He doesn't. We're not talking about his future till after the Euros, till Denmark are gone and he's had his holiday. And to be brutally honest, I think most players at these international competitions are the same. They don't want these distractions. Playing for the nation, so I'm not worried at all, John. But good to see you pop in, my man. I really appreciate it. Guys, really appreciate all your support today. We are trying to interact with you in the comments as well as best as we can, so keep getting your questions in and stuff that you want answered. Good to see some people in there like Rhino and people like that who I haven't seen in a while. Soren, always great to see as well. Of course, on our pre-match build-ups, and can't wait to get them going again with him next season. Christopher Inshaw as well. Good to see you as well, my man. But look, let's keep it moving. We are down to the last two guests of the evening. These will be the last two guests because, like I said, I just want to see the last of Luka Modric while I can. What a player he was. Sam, or is it Sam or Rufus next, Jacko?
I think it is. Sorry, Sam is last. Rufus is next.
Rufus, good to see. Rufus Rufka out in Germany is actually where all the action is happening. Rufus, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, I went to the Serbia game with Jacob.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you fall asleep? Boring.
Huh?
Was it a boring game? Did you fall asleep?
Second half was terrible, but it was a good day. We didn't lose, so like it's not like going to a game and then like not getting to cheer a goal and coming away with a loss or something. So
yeah, I suppose it was good to see.
The shittiest part was the UEFA organisation. Organisation was terrible.
Well, look, just quickly, I know that.
Good.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a connection issue here. Are you still there, Rufus?
Rufus, can you hear us?
Give me an R. Give me a U. Are you there, Rufus? We'll give him an opportunity to try and get back in. The only problem is I did take down the link. But Rufus, if you are listening, if you go back,
I can text it to him.
It'll be okay. Jack's on it. So look, we'll go with Sam next up, and then we'll get Rufus last. See Sam sitting there, dying to get on here. Big smiley face on him. Loves Davies. I wonder.
Fresh off the runs, Dave, as well. He's just started doing his own runs this summer. He's in his Richie run mode. Sam, as he's going to get back in shape. At least was what he told us. So looking forward to it, Sam. But we like what he has to say as well on Spurs.
And hopefully, I know you guys like him, but you will be seeing a lot more of him around the channel over the course of the season. Of course, I think we're lining up to get him on some debate shows and stuff like that. Sam, how are you keeping?
Hey, Sam.
I am. I'm tired.
Tired? Long day at work?
No, my like 20-minute run finished me. Too much bread, Dave.
Well, look, fair play to you. Look, do you know what? That was a huge problem for me, bread. I've actually cut it out, the last few weeks, and I feel great off it, actually. I feel a lot more lighter and a lot more nimble, believe it or not, because I'm a sucker for bread, especially nice bread, sourdough bread, olive bread. I'm all over it. I absolutely love it. But look, that's why I'm like this. So, fair play to you for getting out and running. You don't want to get like me, Sam. But look, where do you want to take this? What do you want to start off with, my man?
I'll start with those kits if I can.
Okay, let's go.
Let's bring him on screen. I'm just, Rufus, if you can still hear me, I might not have your number, Rufus. I should already have it, but I feel like I might have lost it. So, Rufus, if you're listening, maybe email Dave or something, and we can get back to you and we can send the link to
Or if you just go into the search, I think if you just go into the last page, you click that link. It
should be in your history.
Yeah.
It should also be in your history, too.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yes, Sam, you want to start off with those kits. Will you be running in these this summer?
I don't think I'd even want to be buried in that. You know what it reminds? Maybe you wouldn't know, but like it just reminds me of like a train seat or like a bus seat in London. The kind of pattern they use to hide the dirt. I just think it's horrible, and the fact that it's not symmetrical. Like I'm actually fine with the central logo, but I think maybe even like if it wasn't central, it would actually look a bit better. But it just looks so lopsided. I don't really understand.
Yeah. Do you agree with the beach chair reference? It's a bit beachy.
Definitely, and I also agree. Was it Michael that said the only good thing about it is that the AIA is blue?
What about the cockerel on the chest? That seems to be a big kind of trigger point for people. The fact that it's not. I'm
fine with
heart.
that because you remember a few seasons ago we had that yellow one that had the central logo as well. I actually quite like that one.
True.
So I'm not against having a central logo. I just like, what is the point of having the crest central, but the tick not central? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think it's also the fact that the Nike logo, right, is on a different part of the chest than it usually is. It's like where, the Nike logo is over the heart instead of the Spurs crest. I could see why people are, maybe a bit triggered by it. But at the end of the day, I'm actually not as, I think, angered by it or as incensed by it as others are, Sam. I kind of see it as more on the stylish side of things from Nike, and they've been doing that a lot recently. They've been going for more like stylish kind of kits that you would wear kind of out of the house, not like to the game or anything, but almost like, on a Sunday, walk or something to look like, cool or something like that, like kind of a hipster's football shirt. And I think this one, call me crazy, I think this one more or less kind of achieves that. It's some of the other ones that Nike do that always go way too over the top for me with the colors. But this one, I'm not totally against. And I feel like I have a very unpopular opinion by saying that.
But I'll give them the sort of credit of finally doing something that's not just one. So I know obviously we've had a few like the one that was the map in the Champions League season.
Oh.
But like too many times we've just had a standard plain kit. And I remember when we had Under Armour, everyone was like, I can't wait to get Nike. You know, it's going to be so good. But I look back at some of those Under Armour kits. Maybe it's the nostalgia of seeing Kane score that finesse against Ospina, ripping off the goggles and run into the sideline. But I mean, I think one of the first kits I bought myself was a Carl Walker like 2011 kit.
Mm-hmm.
We had like the white collar one. It was just I don't know. Like I'm not really with it. I'm not.
Well, Soren makes a good point. He says at least there's no red in it, which is fair.
Yeah.
But you know what? Weirdly enough, my dad actually likes it. You know, and there might be people out there that might agree with him. He says it's sort of bringing back a bit of a retro vibe. You know, he doesn't mind it. He actually likes it. I asked him, did he need to go and get his eyes tested? You know, but. Look, that's the way it is. Not a big fan of it myself. I'm with you on that one, Sam. I just think it's absolutely hideous. You know, people have referenced beach chairs, gentlemen clubs, and everything else like that. And I think, you know,
everything under the sun.
The other ones put them in there, you know, keep entertaining me. But Sam, transfer window. I think John put in a question earlier on. Sort of, are you worried that Spurs haven't maybe use the market to their advantage, maybe be a bit more aggressive? We're the ones with the money, right? You know, it's the same with January. You know, could we be more aggressive in this market, or do you think it is, maybe my opinion on it, that most players just aren't even talking to anybody because of the Euros and the Copa America?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not one that I used to get like, why aren't we signing anyone? We're halfway through. I know we're only like a weekend, but like I'd be like, we're halfway through the window. We've not signed a single player. We can't just do a deadline day signing again. And then I think it was one summer, that summer where we could have signed Jack Grealish, haggling over 5 million. I must have checked my phone every hour of every day, and then we didn't sign anyone. And it was like, right, well, never again will I get my hopes up about trying to sign players early, which is why it was such a pleasant surprise in January when we did sign 2 players. I know they were the only 2 players we signed, but you know, we signed 2 players right off the bat. Pretty much, it was a shock. But I'm not like gonna cry about it. I do think that there is something to say with the fact that there's now so many teams. Like there's probably 4 or 5 teams fighting for that 4th spot.
Yeah.
You know, whereas before we might have to fight with United, or we might have to fight with Chelsea or Arsenal. Whereas now some of these teams like Arsenal, City, Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool will be interesting, but some of these teams now have a bit more of a set pecking order, and we're up against the likes of your Newcastles, your Aston Villas, Chelsea, United, you know. So there's a lot of players, a lot of teams going for these spots, and let's be honest, there's a lot of what looks like dodgy dealings going on to try and get around these PSR and FFP things that we might actually need to do something or risk getting left in the dust of these other teams who are basically holding hands and skipping down the road together.
Here's a question I got for you. And sorry, Rhino, we will bring this in. Just give me 1 minute, Rhino. Look, for years, you know, Daniel Levy has had this big grand plan, you know, for this time to arrive where clubs are stuck and he can go and flex his muscles. But again, every time it seems like we're at that point, teams are circumventing the rules. They're circumventing a way around it. Does there now come a point where the chairman just has to maybe wrestle with it's not going to work out the way he wants, and he's just going to have to change his approach to the market and start just going aggressive in it and start bringing in the players that he needs to be able to send this club towards a title challenge? Because Pep Guardiola is going to be in his last season at Man City this year. Jurgen Klopp's gone. Premier League's open again all of a sudden for anybody who wants it.
Look, at some point, I think it's kind of I'll give a political answer, Dave. I think it's kind of somewhere in the middle. There comes a point where we've been building this FFP stuff for so long.
Yeah.
You know, he's had this evil villain like plan of being top of all this stuff. When do you decide to start spending money? What's the point of just hoarding all of the all of these money, all the money and the actual opportunity to go and spend against your FFP and PSR. Like we do need to go in and actually drop some money and show players outside of the club and inside the club that we're serious. I mean, look at players like Romero. Whether there's any truth to the rumors about him going to Real Madrid, I don't know. I think Alasdair Gold kind of played it down a little bit, saying that there hasn't been Real Madrid aggregators are usually quite quick to jump on these sorts of rumors. But there hasn't been that much about it outside of that one link that there was, which was from Argentina, I believe. But, you know, I've been saying for like, you know, Romero gives these, he started to give these performances that people are starting to take note of, right? Yeah. He's always been a solid player. He just had that sort of a bit of nastiness in him, which I don't want him to get rid of, but, you know, he needed to play a bit smarter. But, you know, a player especially like Romero, if a big club like Real Madrid comes in, then why would he have any loyalty to us if we can't show the ambition to really push for something? I mean, he's 26 years old. He joined at 23. He's got nothing to show for it yet, other than us thinking that he's a great defender. And I know he's got World Cup and Copa America, but it's all about the club career as well. I know that these South Americans like to fight for the country, but you know, he's going to want to be remembered in these in similar veins to people like Sergio Ramos, you know, like who have just countless trophies to back up the hype that was behind them. So we definitely need to start spending money.
No, I've said this before in the past with Spurs, where, you know, I think there was that year where a lot of clubs were actually pretty cash strapped, and Spurs could have actually taken advantage of some cheaper deals, and they didn't. And it's just something that's happened with Tottenham, where they're actually in a financially advantageous position. They don't really reap the rewards from it, or they don't exactly take advantage of it as much as they could. They could bully some teams. They could really get some shrewd deals over the line and start being more, not only ruthless, like we said, with outgoings, but more ruthless with incomings, and that they have more of an advantage than other clubs do. And they kind of seem to lean on it, but not as much as I think most fans would like to see them lean on that kind of financial advantage. I completely agree with you, Sam. And I think even people who are staunchly Levy out versus people who might not be should agree on that. I think that's kind of a universal kind of agreed thing with Spurs, that oftentimes they just don't really push the envelope as much as they could when it comes to situations like that, especially FFP. Great point.
I mean, other than I'm sorry, just quickly.
No. Work away.
Other than Richarlison and Johnson, when was the last time that you can remember we've actually gone to a team in the Premier League that and tried to sign, you know, we can argue till the cows come home whether Johnson and Richarlison or Everton and Nottingham Forest best players, but you look at teams like Chelsea and United in the past, even City now to a certain degree as well. They go and sign top talents, whether they actually use them in the case of Matthias Nunes and Phillips for City, it doesn't matter. They go and actually show the like you said, they flex their power and go and draw these players in. We are a big club. Like, people might joke and banter us at every opportunity, but we are a big club and we're an attractive club. We've got great facilities. You know, we've got a strong team that we're building. It might not be the best team in the world, but that should be enough to entice players like this that they could get into our team and actually push for something. Yeah. And I'm sure that with Maddison, there was that little bit in his head where he was thinking, you know, I could be the one that comes in and helps Spurs win a trophy, finally end that curse. So, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah, no, and it is something we need to get back to. Even in my childhood, we used to go to English clubs. Peter Crouch brought in Jermaine Defoe, you know, people like that. You know, we used to pick up some of the best players and sort of beef out our squad. But like something else you touched on there as well, Sam, is like this is why it's very important, because I don't want to keep losing our best players. You know, I'm sick of getting attached to great players that are at Tottenham Hotspur, you know, that are genuinely world class, and then they end up moving on and going winning elsewhere. You know, I want them to start winning these things at Tottenham. And you're right with Romero. You know, what's tying him to the club over another year or two, or as soon as Real Madrid come calling? He's gone. Modric went, Gareth Bale went, and he will go as well. The reason why? Real Madrid win Champions Leagues, and they're notorious for it. Over my whole lifetime, they've been notorious for it. Even before my lifetime, they've been notorious for it. So they know they're going to go there, and they're going to pick up the best accolades in the game. So in order for them to not go there, we done well keeping Harry Kane at the club for as long as we did. We sort of tried to say, we have to show you a bit of ambition, Harry, and we never did. But now we've gone out, we've invested in like Romero, we invested in him when he was 23, 24, brought him in here. In order to see these investments all the way through, you need to keep adding quality around it. And for me, this is where I think we have to have a good market. I'm not throwing my toys out the pram about how slow it's moving right now. I think there's a number of factors to it, and I can understand that. And I do think it's going to be like the Wild West as soon as the Euros and the international competitions finish. You're going to see a flurry over a 2-3 week period before teams start going on preseason, where it's just going to be absolutely manic. So, Jack, we better prepare and get plenty of sleep over the next week or two while we can. But, as soon as that happens, I want to see Spurs go out and flex their muscles. I want to see us be ruthless with getting players off the books. It's not only so we can stop the cycle of chopping and changing managers, which the coaching staff as well. It's also about keeping our best players. When we built that stadium, Levy did say it was so we could financially be able to offer our best players the wages to be able to keep them at this football club. That was one of the ideas behind building a new stadium. And then first opportunity we went and sold Harry Kane. This has to stop. If we want to compete for trophies, we have to be able to hold on to our best players just on.
Yeah. And sorry, yeah, Sam. And then Ryan super chat as well. I think we wanted to get your thoughts on. And Ryan says, question, can we get top 4? And if so, what would we need in order to do that in this window? And what would we need to change tactics-wise? Much love, Davo and Jack. Tactics, any sort of slight changes in the system or kind of the positions that you like to see Ange consider? And then also, what do you think we need in order to keep top 4 or get top 4 this next season?
I think that we need to see a little bit of adaptability from Ange. We all loved the start of the season. Then the injuries hit. We gave him a bit of leeway. We lost 4 out of 5 games or something. Then when the players started coming back, I know that there is obviously context. We weren't in the best run. It's hard to get yourself back after an injury. But, there were a lot of people who did start to lose faith with Ange, or at least question his tactics. And I think that Ange could take a bit of inspiration from how Mourinho had his defense. I know he played the back 3, but I'm talking more like, he had Davies on the left and he had Aurier on the right, and he would allow. I know it's crazy. He would allow Serge to get to bomb forward, and would have the left back sitting back. And I'm not saying you need to have that every single time, but you also don't need to have both Porro and Udogie up at the same time, so we're left with this crazy 100-yard sprint between Mickey van der Ven and 2 players.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question on that? Do you think part of the reason is because he knows the supply wasn't coming from the wingers? So, the fullbacks were the next best attacking option to break teams down, which they did to a large degree when Udogie and Porro played. Do you think that's part of it? And if you have better players up front, that he might actually do the system you're talking about? Because I agree with you. We should see it.
I do think so, but I also think that he kind of shot himself in the foot by not allowing 2 players, i.e. the fullbacks, to get wide and actually do what they were doing before we signed them. You know what I mean? I mean, Porro, he was very good against us in the Champions League. I didn't watch a huge deal of him, but obviously the highlights show he would put that ball in if we had the chance. And that kind of ties into what you were talking about with, I don't know, maybe it was Sean, about Fulkrug.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because when he smiles, he's got that tooth missing and he just looks like, he looks rugged and looks like he gets stuck in. I like him. I was thinking, like, when you guys mentioned it, I was thinking, I'm glad that you brought it up, because I do think that he would be an interesting option to bring in if we could get him in for, like, I don't know if you get him for 10 million, but, like 15, 17 million. And then bring in like a sort of winger forward. Because I don't think we're going to sell Richarlison. Let's be honest. I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope not.
You didn't believe Alasdair Gold's story that they could be listening to offers because he
Yeah,
gets
but
injured all
listening
the
to
time.
offers, what does that actually mean? You know, it's like, are they going to entertain anything less than 45 million? And is anyone going to really offer 45 million other than Saudi?
Yeah. Like if you
and
dig a little deeper, like maybe it doesn't actually, it's not much to it. Yeah. I see what you're
his
saying.
own comments as well. I know he said people are reading into it like, oh, he said he was going to stay in England, not at Spurs. It's like, yeah, but I think if an enticing offer came in for him, something that he would really be into, then maybe he would, you know, like an Atletico Madrid or something. Because I don't think that like a Barcelona or Real would come in, maybe an Italian club. But it would still need to be one of these big clubs with, I reckon, with like a Brazilian pedigree, like you see Emerson's comments about AC Milan. Otherwise, why would you go? He's finally started to find a bit of form at the club. I for one, I know that you guys as well like him. I would keep him. I don't see why you need to get rid of him. We've got so many games coming up next season. Hopefully, we don't go out at the first round of every cup that we're in.
Yeah,
and we actually need the squad.
And that's the thing as well. People call for rotation and then more when the manager doesn't do it. You know, in order to rotate, you have to have, good options to be able to do that. Absolutely spot on. But look, Sam, absolutely love this conversation, but I do have a date with Luka Modric, so I do apologise. But actually really enjoyed this conversation, and thank you very much, my man, for giving up your time and also coming on after you're on. I know Jack does it as well. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but I wouldn't miss it.
Well done, Sam. Well done, Sam. Look forward to having more chats with you this summer, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, lads. Thanks for having me on.
Have a good one.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Sam.
evening.
Have a
Enjoy.
good one, my man. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. How cool is Sam, guys? Great conversation, as always, when he comes on. Really like the guy. Really like him. Me and Jack are big fans. Just quickly, Rhino, we'll have a quick say on it as well. Look, when it comes to tactics, I think there's a lot made out of it. You know, when Jose Mourinho came in, all of a sudden we found ourselves in a position, he's not producing what he has at other teams. Same with Conte, same with Ange Postecoglou. Reason why? None of them has had a squad of 18, 19 players that they can rely on. We actually expect them to go and compete with the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and United and that over the years with half the squad that they have, and it's unfair. And then all of a sudden, managers out the door. You can't keep going through this cycle. I do think there will be certain adaptations, like Sam was talking about. Maybe one wing back stays and make a back three, a bit like what Pep Guardiola does it to a degree at City sometimes as well. Sometimes they need to change going forward. One goes, one sits. That's just old-fashioned tactics. One goes, the other one sits. It's just old-fashioned tactics. So I think you might see that. I just have a feeling Andrew had a look at some of the wingers at the football club and said, fuck me, they ain't producing anything, so I'll just have to send Doji up the field to do it, and they did do it. So, I think if we got better forward players, I think you might see a bit of an adaptation to that, Rhino. Let me know what you think, Jacko.
Same thing for me. I think if we added 2 high-quality forward players this summer, I think Spurs have a much better chance of challenging for trophies as well as the top 4. And we also need some extra improvements in areas like left back, perhaps another left-sided center back that we can bring in as well. Some of those areas too definitely need some improving and just need quality backups that Dave and I brought up in kind of that recent video that he and I had a conversation about. And then I think we should be fine in competing for the top. It's really just with the forward area for me. The fact that Spurs conceded around the same goals as the previous season and scored around the same goals as the previous season, I think says a lot. I think we traded defensive football for attacking football, but we didn't actually end up scoring as many goals as I think we would have expected originally. I think everybody would have expected us to smash the original kind of goal tally that we had the previous season. I don't think we really smashed it. I think we only beat it by a couple of goals. So for me, I think we need to have big improvements in the forward line.
Absolutely well said there, Jacko. And lastly, Rhino, I do hope you're keeping well, my man. It'd be good to see you again at some point, but good to see you pop in. I know you're a big football manager addict. Let me know how that's going for you as well, my man. Big yourself up. Just quickly, Rufus, my man, I'll hold out for another couple of minutes, another minute or two. Email if you want to try and get in contact. I have them open here. I haven't seen it. If not, go back to the previous page that you had open to join, and it should bring you straight back in. And we'll give you another minute or that to try and make yourself known. If not, do apologize, and we will sort it out with you on the next one. I'm not sure what happened there. He did say he was having issues in the back end anyway. But guys, I want to say a massive thank you to all you guys as well for tuning in for these fan shows, listening to what people have, what normal Spurs fans have to say, just people that go about their daily life and want to stay on Tottenham. It's absolutely great. So thank you very much for coming in and listening to that. But also, getting in, engaging with us, throwing your questions at us, and stuff like that. I love to see it. So thank you very much. And look, hopefully we can have a good, a good transfer window, guys. That'd be ideal. But I can't wait to go and watch Luka Modric now in action. Yep. Let's see how he gets on, if they can revive Croatia. Go on, Jacko.
Just quickly, last thing I want to plug, everybody, tifo watch alongs, so many this week, jam-packed schedule. Go to the community section. You'll see all the links. Please use our code FLATCAP. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. I'm going to try to do this a better job next time in one of our future live shows, because I think it's hard because we don't have technically like a new email or something that we could show you guys to sign up for the first time. But please, everybody, so many watch alongs are scheduled. USA ones, we got some Euros ones coming up as well. So please, everybody, head on over to the tifo platform. So many watch alongs lined up. I put the link in the chat there. Please use the code FLATCAP. Use your email, create a username, and you'll be joining our page. And you'll be seeing us plenty there over the Euros. If you have been missing us on the channel, that's where you can find plenty more of us. So please head on over to the tifo watch along. Really do appreciate the support that anybody's already given us over there. But I think we are missing some people, some regulars that we do see on YouTube. Not sure if they've made it all the way over yet. So please do. Really would help us out a ton.
And guys, it's completely free to sign up. There's no membership, there's no fees, there's no super chat, and no nothing. It all just works off engagement, gifts, threads, private conversations with each other, bit of banter. If the games get a bit dull, Jack always comes in with a bit of trivia. He tries to make me a better person, or more cultured person. We can learn about countries, food, cuisine, all that sort of good jazz, stuff that we like outside of football. So guys, make sure you get over there, join up, and come and join us. All we do is sit there, watch the football, and just have a bit of crack. It's not too serious. We're not really invested in the Euros because neither of us are there. We also do Copa America games, which USA are in. So, get in, guys. Come over and have a bit of banter with us. But look, Rufus, Jack has put the code in there. So when you go to sign up, it's just your email address, then the referral code, and then whatever username.
It's also in the description of this video, which is an easier way to do it, I must say. If you don't want to do it through the live chat, just do it in the description of this video. Has all the information you need. And Jason Bell, thank you so much, sir. He's been a great influence over there. He's been a great user over there as well. Sorry, what were you about to say, Dave?
Yeah, no, Jason Bell has been a good influence. I just want to say, guys, the reason why we get these opportunities is because of you guys. And they're trying to make, basically a different version of the watch along platform and stuff like that. And we want you guys to come over, interact with us, see whether you like it, see whether you don't, stuff like that. We want your input, we only get them because of your guys following. So, we do need more numbers over there. We do need more feedback, whether people enjoy it and stuff like that. So please do us a solid and get over there. I know we ask a lot, but just one more, I beg, please. Actually, I don't beg, that's too far, but please, if you could, that would be nice. And then we have this from Jason Bell. He says, tifo watch alongs have been great, lads. I'm looking forward to more. Member for 33 months. It blows my socks off every
Mount
time
Rushmore.
I see it.
Welcome to the Mount Rushmore. You and Ribsy, so many years. You're definitely a part of it, Jason Bell. Thank you so much. And I've appreciated the birthday message from you, and just you especially, and so many of you guys. But Jason Bell's been supporting Dave and I for a very long time, respectively. So just want to say, Jason, you rock. Really appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Modric time. I think Jason was on a tight schedule as you. I think he said that at the beginning of the show. He wants to watch Modric too. So we'll see you tomorrow, everybody, for the England game, and plenty more content coming up this week. Thanks everybody for joining the watch or the fan show today, for following the link. See you next time. Come on, you Spurs. Big Ange, we trust. We never stop. See you, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.